Will Gavin and Master Tesfatsion.
And a squad of big-name contributors.
The S Word
from talkSPORT.
Hello and welcome to the S Word with me, Will Gavin, him, Master Tesfatsion. I appreciate that you've still shown up and shown out and worn your Arsenal loud and proud, Master.
What day is it?
Listen, we're going to get into a huge weekend. Of course, the Champions League, as it wasn't quite to be.
Do we have to talk about it?
Arsenal in Budapest.
Do we have to talk about it?
This would have been my attitude if you'd won. Let's be clear. Massive show to you today as we look to that final. We'll talk PSG with Eric Bielderman. We'll recount Masters Day alongside 800,000 plus Arsenal fans who took over North London.
It's not the beam of positivity, is it?
You had the beam of positivity going yesterday.
I did. And now I'm feeling it.
You bounced back very quickly, you've got to say, from being in the absolute doldrums and tweeting about loser mentality at 2 a.m. on Sunday morning to saying you love this club and you're the biggest club in the world by sort of 2 p.m. Sunday afternoon. And look, they're all coming out of the woodwork right now. They've won something proper, but we'll talk to Arne Slot. We'll talk Arne Slot sacking at Liverpool, and we'll talk about Andoni Iraola. Phil Kitromides will join us, and we'll cross over to the stateside. We'll speak to the Bear, Chris Felica. Zito Madu is going to be here in studio with us. He came over for the parade, so huge show. USMNT in action, loads going on, all coming up for you on the S Word.
I feel sick.
Oh my God.
Look, I'll give you another couple of minutes to compose yourself, to gather your thoughts, because...
Should I save my tears for another day?
It wasn't to be. No, I want all of your tears right now, after we've looked back and remembered how it wasn't to be for Arsenal in Budapest.
Tonight, the best attack in the competition comes up against much the best defence. Imperious against impervious. And Kai Havertz will drop deep and play the ball out to the left where it's worked for. It comes off Trossard and breaks Havertz's way. Big early chance. His ranging stride takes him inside the penalty area and he strikes it into the top right-hand corner. It's 1-0 to the Arsenal. Has that refrain ever had a sweeter sound? Kvaratskhelia taking it on the half turn on the edge of the penalty area. Lovely little 1-2. It's gone down inside the penalty area. And the referee has given a penalty to Paris Saint-Germain. It's Ousmane Dembele that will step forward and take it. Penalty save now. David Raya's had the season of his life. Can he conjure it up? No, he can't. It's driven in past him into the bottom left-hand corner. And it's 1-1 between PSG and Arsenal. And they've got it to penalties. It's a nervy-looking run-up from Gabriel. Left-footed. He's missed it. He's missed the target. He's blazed it over the bar. Paris Saint-Germain celebrate back-to-back Champions League titles.
Did we have to show that?
I mean, you were still undefeated in the whole competition. You didn't lose a single game in normal time or in extra time, but PSG 4-3 winners on penalty.
You couldn't wait to say that.
It also didn't stop 800,000 fans descending on North London for a Premier League trophy parade on Sunday. That had you bouncing back at least a little bit. So before we get to Saturday night, and we will get to Saturday night, how was Sunday? You were there. Talk us through your day.
Let me show my eyes at least for once. Oh, God.
Beautiful.
Oh.
Big, beautiful beaming browns. You love to see it.
I was debating whether to go to the parade or not.
I feel like half the people there were feeling the same.
Man, Saturday night was absolutely brutal. I was not here for any level of positivity off of that. They had it. They had it. And I went for a 5-hour walk all across central London, giving hugs and daps to random Arsenal fans that came across the streets and being taunted by all the Arsenal haters, finding joy in the fact that Arsenal still cannot sing that they're champions of Europe. I got home maybe about 2 a.m., set my alarms to watch, Game 7 of the NBA Finals, or the Western Conference Finals. And I got up at 8, and I was still up in the air. I wasn't sure. I made the trek anyways, stopped at a convenience store to pick up any goods I needed to help me get through the day.
Yeah, make sure you can get through it. I get it.
Properly hydrated. And the train ride over, getting on the tube, and it was a ton of Arsenal fans. You could tell everyone else was in the same somber sentiment. And I was a bit worried. This felt like maybe like an afternoon game against Wolves at the Emirates for a bit there. I was a little worried. But as soon as I pulled up to Holloway Road, I could hear the vuvuzelas from half a mile away. I could see the flares. I could hear the crowd, the excitement for the celebration. And honestly, there's no better place I would have rather been than in North London celebrating that parade. It was great to be around other Arsenal fans. It was great to celebrate what happened this season, despite what happened last night, and to be around other fans that understood the same sentiment. That was pretty bittersweet. It was very much needed for the celebration and the healing process that I'm sure I wasn't alone in experiencing that.
See, I remember our French fan coming on the fan face-off, Rafa, last week and saying you should have held the parade beforehand. And there was a part of me that was worried that if you lost on Saturday night, which you obviously did, hindsight 2020 and everything, that it would be a damp squib. But biggest parade in Premier League history, most fans turning up. I don't know if you've got the smoke out of your eyes yet from all those red flares.
I still smell the flares.
And look, again, before we start to break down the football, from my perspective as a non-Arsenal fan, but as a neutral in this situation, what was beautiful to me and what I think is the joy of Arsenal Football Club is that as they've grown over this past 10 years, 15 years, as they've grown a much bigger international audience, particularly in Africa, particularly in America, where they are the fastest growing team. You know, Thierry Henry has a lot to do with that in America, I'm sure, but it felt like Black London turned out in a big, big way. It was the most diverse parade I think I've ever seen in my life.
That was so much fun.
A beautiful thing to see. Everyone from so many backgrounds, so many ages, so many colours and creeds and everything else. And it was like, there was a bit of me. We spent all of last week joking about it and saying, I want to be there and I want to be invited and everything else. And I was winding up about it. But there's a little bit of me that got a little bit of FOMO on Sunday. I was like, man, that looks like a lot of fun.
I've never been to Carnival here and I'm dying to go, and hopefully I go in August.
Definite Carnival vibes.
I was in there just like, there was a certain point after the parade was over, I was trying to find where the music was at, because there was people gathered around flats with speakers outside their windows just playing just big tunes, and I'm just outside dancing, celebrating, enjoying it. It was a tremendous experience. And now, but you know, this is now the standard, and truth be told, Arsenal parades are going to be like Carnival. They're going to happen annually now. That's the expectation. And
that is the expectation. That brings us on to Saturday night, because I'm not going to come on. I've seen all the trolls all weekend. I'm sure we'll have some fun today. I'm sure there'll be, a few little moments.
Bring it like The Rock.
I mean,
bring it.
I did get you a little commiseration present.
Oh, no. I just... What?
It's only a little something I bought off Amazon. It's an Arsenal pencil case. It's missing a couple of pens, but you'll get over that. The whole point of Saturday night is that when I just really thought you were going to bite back on me immediately.
It's an absolute disgrace.
Look, after Saturday, I watched the trolls and I heard everything everyone had to say, and I listened to everything that Jason Cundy and Gabby Agbon was going to say, and I wanted to come in and say it to pieces, and I wanted to come in and say bottle job.
It's missing some pencils too.
I wanted to. I wasn't going to actually fill it with stuff. It's not like my house is full of things from my children or anything. I wanted to come on, and I was like ready. I was flexing. I was all like, I had that energy about me. But I'm not going to hate on Arsenal for doing exactly what they needed to do to try and win the Champions League, for going out there and playing the style of football which has got them to this point, and for playing the style of football which was going to be the only way that they beat PSG. And I came in last week and I told you time and time again, from when the semi-finals finished to this time, yeah, you've got a chance of winning this game, but you're going to basically have to be perfect. The margins with which Arsenal play are so incredibly fine when you're playing a team like that. And man, you were 99.9% of the way there. You were so close to nailing it. I want to get your thoughts on the game.
They were so close.
Yeah, go on.
They were so close. I hate the people that are like, they should have been more attacking, more aggressive. Have you watched Arsenal play? Have you seen them play? Have you watched Arsenal at any point this season? They are the best defense in Europe for a reason. It's the same people that also thought PSG were going to score 5 goals on Arsenal the entire time. And they didn't get an open play goal at all in 120 minutes. You couldn't have asked for a better game script, particularly in that first half. Not only did they survive those first 15 minutes, they had the lead. After 6 minutes, they had the lead. And Arsenal was built to defend for 90 minutes. They are capable of doing this. And unfortunately, one error in the box leads to a penalty, and it changed the whole entire game script. It did.
The shape out of possession, the pressing, all of it was sensational.
Fantastic.
The way that Saka tracked back, the way that him and Mosquera worked together to just completely nullify the left-hand side for PSG, which was such a threat coming into this game. Ousmane Dembele, nowhere to be seen.
None.
Like, for all of the, I want to take the mickey, like, Arsenal, for a huge amount of that game, played a brilliant, brilliant game of football. But I don't think you can keep playing that way year in, year out. People wanted to dig you out for an easy run to the final, right? You earned that run by finishing top of the league stages. But if you try and play that style of football against a PSG, a Bayern Munich, particularly over two legs in earlier stages of a competition, I'm not sure we see you back in a final, let alone winning the thing. This is a huge summer for Arsenal, and I think they have got to show no cowardice and be bold as anything and go out and make big, big swings.
I agree. And I think the biggest separation between PSG and Arsenal is that PSG can beat you in multitude of styles. Mm-hmm. We saw last year in the semifinal first leg at the Emirates, PSG scored the early goal and they completely shut down Arsenal. And they were able to go in with a 1-0 lead on aggregate after the first leg. See, the camera don't even want to look at you right now.
The camera's so disgusted with me, it just swung away.
Arsenal was down 1-0 and PSG was able to close the door. But also PSG can beat you 4-1, 4-0. Arsenal right now at this point, unfortunately, they're built to win in one style. But that was based off of what happened last summer. Last summer, there was a huge divide among Arsenal, but also among the fans. Do you build out the depth of the squad, which is the reason why they kept finishing second, unfortunately, in the Premier League for 3 straight seasons? Or do you find that game-changing playmaker with the money you have in the summer transfer window? Berta prioritized the depth, didn't give Arteta the playmaking attacker that he was looking for, and it won them the Premier League. And kudos to them, that strategy worked to win the Premier League. Now this summer, you have to find that bona fide attacker. The one that's proven, that has done it on those big stages time and time again, that can make sure in finals, in the biggest of moments, that player shows up and steps up with the big play.
It's when I talk about the idea of Arsenal making a statement and attacking this off-season, right? £180 million spent last summer on Gyökeres, Madueke, Eze. Madueke I don't think is good enough. We'll get into the penalty situation shortly. Gyökeres, squad-level player. Trossard, squad-level player. Odegaard hasn't been good enough the last 2 years. Martinelli, not good enough. And then you have someone like Bukayo Saka, who, on his day, can be one of the best attacking players in the world. But you look over the last 2 years, injuries, drops in form, only 7 goals and 5 assists this year in 31 appearances.
That's a lot of time.
6 and 10 in the 25 last year. Like, that's not what you expect from a top-tier guy. I really think, right, Julian Alvarez isn't done yet. Go and hijack that deal. Jump in front of Barcelona. Let Atleti sell outside of the Liga. Go and just go, here's the 130 million you want, it's on the table, and do it. Or go and usurp Liverpool for Yan Diomande. Or go to Villa or Forest and impose your financial dominance on them and get yourself Morgan Rogers or Morgan Gibbs-White.
I'll do you one better.
Go and kill those.
I'll do you one better. I teased this last week.
Oh, we talking it?
I teased this last week.
This is bold.
I'm
not going to lie. As much as I'm saying to attack the off-season.
I said there's a player that Arsenal should aggressively go after this summer.
Is it bold or is it delusional? That's the question.
You haven't even mentioned his name yet.
I held off.
You haven't even mentioned his name. I think Arsenal should make a heavy run at Vinicius Jr. I think whatever the cost is to finally address the left wing position, Arsenal should spend every single pound, euro, crypto, dollar, you name it, to make an aggressive push after Vinicius Jr. He's been having some contract issues with Real Madrid for quite some time now.
Threw his toys out of the pram for Xabi Alonso and,
And now they're bringing in Jose Mourinho, which we saw.
An El Clasico, which they won, by the way, last year.
Jose Mourinho's coming in. We saw what happened against Benfica, whether that relationship's going to work or not. And very clearly, Mbappe and Vinicius Jr., for whatever it's worth, has not worked out. Vinicius Jr. has done it on big stages.
He'd be incredible in the Premier League.
16 goal contributions in finals. That is tied for the most in Real Madrid's history, with guys like Karim Benzema, Cristiano Ronaldo, and of course Puskas. He has scored twice in 2 different Champions League finals. He's won the Champions League twice. You want to find a bona fide game-changing attacker? that you can just slide in the left wing, that not only can take on defenders 1v1, but also can deliver beautiful crosses and can facilitate for other players. You have a front three with Vinicius Jr., Kai Havertz, and Bukayo Saka. They're going to win a Champions League final.
When you are not a Champions League winning team, when you are a team who is not at the top table, as it were, in Europe, I cannot figure out if I think, yes, that's bold, that's big, it's exactly what Arsenal need to do, or if this turns into a long off-season chase and you don't sign any of those other players I mentioned and it feels like you're being delusional.
What other players?
And I can't decide between the two of them.
Like,
he's the only one who
you
is...
think Diomande? Like, I love Diomande, and I followed Diomande back when he was in Africa. He's a tremendous player. What big stages has he been on? Julian Alvarez, tremendous player. He'd be great to get to. It's very clear he wants to go to Barcelona. I just don't see a scenario where that changes.
It only happens if Atleti agree to
it's
stepping down to the level they're willing to pay.
I am of the belief that he is going to go to Barcelona. I don't think that changes. If you want to be bold, if you want someone that has actually won the Champions League, with Julian Alvarez has not, despite what he's done with Argentina, obviously World Cup winner. What has he won at Atletico Madrid? Tell me. Couldn't even win Copa del Rey. Just lost to Arsenal and looked pretty lackluster in those two fixtures, if we're being honest. Tremendous talent. Not dismissing him at all. But I'm not being delusional. I'm specifically addressing the question you asked. You want someone that's a bona fide game changer. And every single person you just named has not won a Champions League, has not consistently shown they can do it on the big stages, and this would address a massive need.
I truly think the only time Arsenal have done it in their history, in their modern history, in the last 20 years, in the last 2 decades, since moving to the Emirates, the only time they've ever made a transfer of this magnitude is bringing Declan Rice in. And even then, Declan Rice, yes, an England international, but he was playing for West Ham. He was playing for a team who are happy if they're surviving relegation, delighted if they're top half of the table. It was just the fact that you beat out Man City, that you beat out United, you beat out all these other teams. And that's why I mentioned those other names I mentioned. But to go and sign a player like Vinny, that would be a true statement. That would be properly bold.
You want a statement. I'm not here for the squad depth talk. We did that last year, and they got us a Premier League title. Find the playmaker. They passed up on people like Alexander Isak for this particular reason, for the squad depth. Noni's a squad player. Whether you like it or not, he's not going anywhere. Victor Gyökeres, squad player. Whether you like it or not, he's not going anywhere. If you want to debate whether Odegaard or Martinelli or Gabriel Jesus, all these other guys get sold, sure. They just broke the record for revenue generated from a Premier League club. Go out there and spend big.
It's a beautiful thought. We've got so much to still get into from the game. We've not talked about the penalty decisions. We've not talked about the fact that, honestly, I came out here being positive about your performance overall, but the fact that from the 70th minute onwards, there could have been more attacking wise, so we'll get into that as well. We're not talking about the substitutions. Loads to dig into from this game, but we've got Zito Madu joining us in the studio. He was here for the parade yesterday, big Arsenal fan, favourite on the show as well. So he's going to be joining us in studio in a moment. And get in the comments. Is it deluded to think that Vinicius Jr. should be a target for Arsenal, or is it exactly the bold kind of move they need to make if they're to consider themselves a team who should be at the top table?
The S Word with Will Gavin and Master Tesfatsion from talkSPORT. S-Word's here. Just 2 hours of full-on football dialogue.
Every day,
talkSPORT presents
the S Word.
You're back with the S Word on talkSPORT. Get up in the comments. You are being dug out for the fact that Alvarez was on the Man City team that won the treble, but...
That's true. Good shout.
Yeah, I mean...
My mistake.
It's a fine shout. I don't think he was playing a huge amount of football at that point, but...
They had a guy named Erling Haaland, I believe. Kevin De Bruyne was on that team too, right?
We'll accept it.
Phil Foden, did he even play in the Champions League final that game?
I'm not getting involved.
I'm asking. These are questions needs answers. I'm just saying.
There's still a lot to get into from the game itself. We're going to be joined in the studio by Arsenal fan, brilliant football writer extraordinaire, Zito Madu momentarily. But first, I mentioned the top table chat. Jason Cundy, Gabby Ogbonlahor and former Arsenal winger Perry Groves were discussing whether Arsenal can be considered a top table club if they've not won the top trophy in Europe.
The only side in London to win the Champions League is Chelsea.
Please slide on.
And that's
that's another thing, by the way. I heard you say that you're not a big club if you haven't won the Champions League. Or
no, you can't sit at the top table.
Right, so you're saying Nottingham Forest are a bigger club than Arsenal?
Well, yeah, because they won the.
So they're a bigger club. So you're saying Steaua Bucharest are a bigger club than Arsenal?
Yeah, Red Star Belgrade, PSV.
They're bigger clubs than Arsenal.
Hamburg.
Don't be silly.
Feyenoord, FC Porto, Marseille.
They're bigger clubs than Arsenal.
They've won the big trophy.
Yeah.
No, are they bigger clubs?
You've got to win it. Pat.
No. So you think Villa are a bigger club than Arsenal?
Because they won Europe.
When was the last time Villa won the top title in this country?
I look at European Cups.
Not answering my question.
And I look at just one Europa League.
When was the last time Villa won the first division? And I'll give you a clue. First division.
Yeah, but I look at European.
When was the last time Villa won the FA Cup?
I'm not sure.
You're a big Villa fan, yeah?
Yeah. Well,
so when's the last time Villa won the FA Cup?
I look at European Cups.
You're not answering my question, Gab. When was the last time Villa won the FA Cup?
You can't sit at that top table, mate.
No,
if you're going to a wedding, right? If you're going to a wedding.
First or second?
No. Okay, we'll both be right. If you're going to a wedding, you're sitting out with all the others.
Yeah.
Because you're Arsenal. You're not.
You're not in VIP.
You've got
You haven't
PSV.
answered my question.
Steaua Bucharest.
So you think Steaua Bucharest are a bigger club than Arsenal? Don't be silly.
They're sitting next to the bride and groom.
Don't you realise how silly you sound?
But you can't. You've got to feed off that top
It's coming.
table.
Don't worry. It's coming.
I mean, we know Jason's on the wind-up. We know Gabby's on the wind-up. In fact, the clip of them celebrating after the game in their PSG shirts has done over 6 million views on TikTok. But is there a point? Do Arsenal need to win that top-tier competition before they can be considered a truly elite club in world football?
Maybe they should add an unused substitution in the Champions League final like Julian Alvarez.
Oh, you're getting back on that.
Maybe that'll get him over the line. Who knows? Tell me in the comments. Does an unused substitution in the final, is that experience? Let me know.
Zito Madu's in the studio. That's what's most important. He's come fresh off not just the parade, but the after party as well. Yes. I thought you were feeling it a little bit this morning. Zito's been out for a wild all-nighter by the sounds of it. Glad you could join us, Zito. Thank you so much for being on the show.
It took a lot to get here, but I'm here.
I appreciate it.
I got a text of like, hey, there's this after party event going on, and I woke up at 3 a.m. and said, buddy, I'm cooked. I'm done.
Talk us a little bit, first of all, what it was like. You've flown over from the US just to come and experience that yesterday. Experience that parade. What was that moment like?
Yeah, I mean, it was fantastic. I think Master talked about it earlier. It's like there's no better place to be than to be with all those fans. But, in the lead up to the week, I was like, do I want to go? Do I want to go? And then, even when we lost the Champions League final, I was like, everyone's going to be kind of sad about it. But literally that night, as I walked out, because I'm in North London, there were so many Arsenal fans everywhere. And it was very much like, we lost, but we won the Premier League. And so
I thought that was loser mentality. That was what you said.
I mean, still celebrating a title. Loser mentality is what Chelsea's doing. To be honest with you, like Chelsea over here tweeting out about, come tour our stadium for the Champions League trophies. Hey, Chelsea, if you're listening, I would love to tour Stamford Bridge and check out your trophies. But if you can time it up when you guys are playing in Europe next season, more than happy to come. Are they in Champions League? Are they in Europa?
No, I don't think they are.
Then I don't think I'll be coming to Stamford Bridge.
Well, I think the thing is like, you don't lose the joy of winning the Premier League because you lost the Champions League. It would have just added to the level of joy. It's weird to tell a group of fans that we haven't won after 22 years, that you can't be happy because you lost an additional trophy that you were in contention for. So I think that's what everyone was feeling, is like, all in all, it was still a successful season, and you've experienced something that you haven't experienced in 22 years. Why would you let rival fans who want you to be miserable take that away from you?
It's just screamed of insecurity from the rival fans, to be honest with you. Because, like, the reaction, the response, I mean, you already know Arsenal was hated, but, like, to trash them in this kind of way when, again, I had Spurs fans trying to talk trash to me, and I'm like, brother, you finished 17th again, bro.
Yeah.
I had Chelsea fans trying to talk trash to me. I'm like, bro, you're not even playing in Europe next season. What are we talking about here?
But I think it's also the difference between like being online and being in person, right? Like that was the biggest experience. It's like online, the sort of like language is misery, right? It's like hate watch. It's like you have to see somebody else miserable. And, you know, I love hating as much as the next person. I feel like, you know, I'm one of the top tier haters in world history.
Huge fan.
But like when you're out with the fans, when you're out, it doesn't even have to be Arsenal fans. When you're out with your team and you're winning a game or you're winning the league, what you feel is like joy. And that's what you got in the parade. That's what you got the day before. Is like this kind of joy of like, we won, but we're all here together and we're all like sharing this like love together. Why would you get online and get on like, you know, Instagram and have some like Spurs fan who's never seen his team be successful in any like substantial way take that away from you?
I think what I found fascinating from the last 24 hours of someone looking from the outside in has been, we have been hearing some woe is meism from a lot of the people who have been on the show, people who've been on talkSPORT over the last few days, not happy that they are getting ribbed, not happy that they're getting the mick taken out of them, like demanding respect because of winning the Premier League and all of that. And there has to be an element of, if you can dole it out, if you can spend the whole season winding up Spurs fans about the fact that they very nearly got relegated. Somebody raised the question, is Arsenal the most hated team in London? I think was questioned, in the world, in Europe. They're not the most hated team in North London. They are just hated in this moment because they are achieving more than other people, and therefore, and I compared it when you want to talk about Arsenal fans being the insufferables, which is kind of was the claim I was trying to put on them. What you said about the online world versus the real world. Every time I've been to the Emirates, every time I've watched games in the pub with Arsenal fans, every time I've hung out even with this guy, I've had a joyous time. Arsenal fans in person are great. It reminds me of the Seattle Seahawks. If you go to that stadium, Seahawks fans are some of the best in the world. They are warm, they are welcoming. I could be wearing Niners gear and they are still lovely to me. They are the worst online fans in the world. If you cover that sport and you are getting just ribbed constantly and having the mick ripped out of you and just everything you say is absolutely picked apart, and I do feel like the online fandom of Arsenal has been quite toxic, while what you saw at the parade was a beautiful thing.
Well, I think that's the thing, is like what sells online is like being provocative, being like miserable, sort of like winding people up. That is the sort of language of, if you're on X, that's the only sort of thing that does engagement, right? But in real life, like when we lost the Champions League, I was out and about, and there were like a couple of Chelsea fans and PSG fans like going around trying to like make fun of Arsenal fans.
This guy got chased down the street by some Chelsea fans.
But it was like, it was strange because it's like 2 or 3 people and there's like 100 of Arsenal fans, and you're looking at them like, and you know, they're trying to wind them up, and like we all looked at them, and it just kind of feels silly in real, like when you're in like in a real life context, to watch one person going from one group to the other. Like,
isn't it part of the joy of football though? Winding each other up, having rivals. Like Rory Jennings always jokes that there's not enough hate in football, and I'm like, I want, like,
there's plenty.
If I'm going to give it out, I'll take it back, and I take it back in good spirit. Like,
but if it's like, if it's 100 of us and one of you, it's like, I think us having fun and sort of enjoying the Premier League trophy just like dominates the one person trying to make you upset about it. Right, like it's different if we're in a match together and it's like, like, let's wind each other up, but we're out in London and you're just outnumbered, right? I think also that's probably why the Arsenal hate has become so big, is because the Arsenal fandom is huge. Like you saw it with the parade, right? Like the biggest parade in like UK history or whatnot, and it's like, like it feels kind of overwhelming when you go anywhere and there's like Arsenal fans. Like the plane that I was on coming from New York, Arsenal fans. Like,
I did not know there were so many Arsenal fans in South London. I went out in the car on Saturday afternoon ahead of the final just to go do some shopping, drop my wife off somewhere, and honestly, the number of Arsenal fans I'm driving by, I went past a guy who was in a throwback JVC kit in his car, and his 2 headrests had the JVC logo on them, and I'm like, where have all these people been all my life? Like, where are these people coming out of the woodwork? And I feel like Tottenham fans have had to take it all season long and take it in good stead, and I've just seen some of the Arsenal fans have clapped back after Saturday night, and I was like, come on, enjoy that you've won the Premier League, enjoy that you're back at the top, and just, you know, brush off that nonsense.
It's just like, at the end of the day, you won the Premier League. Just go have fun. Just sometimes I'm like, just turn your phone off. Right? Just turn your phone off.
Turn my phone. I was catching up on all the social reaction today.
Turn your phone off. Go to the pub. Go to the dance floor. Like we danced till 3 a.m. at a bowling alley turned dance club, and no one was there going like, "Oh, what are Chelsea fans saying?"
I want to talk about the game though.
Yeah, sorry.
Because that first half couldn't have gone any better.
Yeah.
If there's one sticking point that I'm still like, what if on? Mosquera had a yellow card in the 47th minute.
Mm-hmm.
And Arteta told reporters beforehand, Timber was fit enough to start.
Mm-hmm.
By about 60 minutes, you have to be thinking you're playing with fire now.
Mm-hmm.
Mosquera gave you a good hour. Take him off.
Yeah.
And we've seen this sometimes with Arteta where the substitution sometimes it's maybe a bit too late or and obviously he takes him off after the pin. Then he makes a decision a minute later to take off Odegaard for Gyökeres and just kind of throws off the imbalance of the team. I'm curious, like, what did you think of those two substitutions? And from Arteta's standpoint, like, timing-wise, like, I don't know. Arsenal played well enough defensively to win that in 90 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, like, it was a penalty. They gave up a penalty, and that penalty was, you know, like you're talking about Mosquera. I think he's probably one of the best players that we had in that game, right? Like, that entire right wing, him and Saka just shut it down completely, right? And I think his yellow card was from a throw-in. That referee was pissing me off. But it was time.
I thought the referee refereed the game brilliantly.
No, of course.
Genuinely, I think, like, if you look through the key decisions in that game, the corner decision at the end of the half was sensational. After they took 45 seconds over a throw and then another 35 seconds to take the corner. I thought the no handballs for both the Arsenal goal and the penalty were both the right decisions. I thought the penalty decision was right. I thought Madueke on his penalty was right. I think there was the Saka yellow card. I agreed with you on that. Felt like a rash moment, but
that was a bit harsh. But there was a lot of 50-50 plays where Joao Neves is just, you know, he's 5'3", so he's
Rice
going
absolutely deserved to be booked for chasing him down for 90 seconds.
The small players get away with that, right? Like, I think it's I'll call it the Oscar syndrome. When Oscar was back at Chelsea, and he would foul quite a lot, but he's like very small and cute, and so the referees are like, what can you do?
Okay, you do. He's small. Like,
it's the same way like bigger players get fouled so much and they never get a call, right? Like, you see it with Haaland. Whenever Haaland's about to get the ball, he's being put in the full Nelson by the defenders, and the ref is like, you're 6'3", like, it's okay, right? But I think the Mosquera thing is like, he was just playing well, even with the yellow card. He was kind of immaculate the whole match, and I don't think he's necessary. Like, I don't think Arteta felt that even with the yellow card that he was gonna make mistakes, right? I think that penalty was like, it was the 1-2 that they played, and he was like turned around, and it was just in this moment
I'm saying you got Timber on the bench. At some point, you got to bring him in. And I'm like,
Timber's great.
You get hindsight 2020.
And I understand. At the time, though, I was saying, look, if you got Mosquera on the yellow, we know how aggressive he plays.
Yeah.
Fortunately, he didn't get a second yellow there and was sent off, even though that'd be double jeopardy. In my mind, I'm like, you've got this window that you're playing with fire.
I think actually in that, it was because Saka didn't come back to help him quite a lot, right? Like, the way that they were doing is like Mosquera steps out and Saka's right behind him, and so he like steps in. So Mosquera's like, that was one of the few times where he was all alone and they just played around him. But yeah, I think it's a little bit of hindsight, but I know what you're saying. It's like, he's already in danger, take him off. And then Timber comes in and does really well.
Timber played for a whole hour.
Yeah, like Timber does really well. But yeah, I think it's just, you just don't think that penalty is going to happen, and there's nothing that gives you that indication that like that penalty was going to happen until it happened.
What about the decisions over the penalty takers? We haven't talked about Eze's penalty yet. We haven't talked about Gabriel taking the fifth penalty yet.
I mean, when I saw Gabriel going up, I was like, well, this is out of my hands, right? Like, it made no sense. I don't know why you put Gabriel to take that penalty, but I don't know. Maybe it's a mentality thing. But even in that run-up, everyone was like, this is going to be so bad.
And when he hesitated, the ball placement, the official kind of...
Like, his heart, you could feel his heart beating, which is so weird for a player like him. But yeah, it's like, I don't know why that's your fifth penalty taker at all.
He had to have called it. As one of the leaders of the team, probably one of the few leaders left on the pitch.
Yeah.
He probably felt like put it in his hands rather than, Andoni Madueke, his first season there, coming off the bench, or Zubamendi coming off the bench.
But Madueke, I think, would have done well because, like, and this is a positive compliment, but I don't think he thinks enough to be scared in that moment.
I don't think anyone believes in Noni Madueke more than Noni Madueke
Exactly.
does.
Like, he has a kind of like self-confidence and delusion that a winger should have, but like great players have, which is that no matter how much I mess up, I'm still amazing.
This was the frustration for me, right? Because what I heard was a lot of the cope was, well, Gabriel went in there, he said he wanted to take a penalty, Arteta trusted him as his captain, and don't get me wrong, he was the best player on the field for
100%.
at least 90 of that 120 minutes. The 2 tackles he made in the box were both goal-saving, ridiculous.
Insane.
But he should not be taking that penalty in that moment. Arteta has to be stronger to say, you might be the captain, you can take 7, you can take 8, whatever that looks like. But Noni Madueke, 2 years ago, in a 4-0 win over Everton, he's fighting Cole Palmer to take a penalty on the pitch in front of 40,000 fans. And you're telling me that guy wasn't bold enough to say, yeah, I'll take a penalty.
Maybe he was. I don't know.
Either he's been a coward or Arteta has made a poor decision.
I mean,
one of those two things. And
I think it's the manager, bro. Like, as the manager, you can't sort of like abdicate the responsibility when it's penalties in a Champions League final. That's if you can't be a manager, then you can't really say that you're in charge of that team. So like, he gave it to Gabriel, and then what happened. But as soon as he went up there, I was like, this is not good.
I'm not even as upset with Gabriel as I am with Eze. That the run up, the hesitation, you've got half the net is wide open.
Yeah.
And the whole point of the stutter step slow is to be in control.
Yeah.
Like, how are you doing all this stop and go and you still can't even? The placement is you're doing this for placement, not power.
Yeah.
And you cannot even execute that. That was infuriating.
If I was to back him up in some way, and I'm not, I want to be clear, the goalkeeper on the previous penalty had moved early, and I think what he's looking for is the Ivan Toney, I'm doing the stutter step, get the goalkeeper to go early. That's what I'm then going to read him and just place it. And the goalkeeper does a very good job, Safanov, of staying completely still and not falling for it. But if that's what happens, your plan B has to be, right, I've only got a 1-step run up here. I've either got to absolutely place it perfectly in a corner or just smash it. To go off target is completely unacceptable.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm from the old school way of just run up and hit that ball as hard as you can to one of the corners. Right? It's like, if you hit it hard, even when the goalie gets glove on it, most of the time it will just like keep going, right? And so like, when you're doing a stutter step, you're playing chicken with the goalie. It's about who moves first or who makes the decision first. And if a keeper decides not to move, then you have to make a split-second decision on what you're gonna do, and he just did not make that, right? But yeah, I mean, also penalties are such, it comes down to luck quite a lot, right? Like,
but you played for penalties.
Yeah.
By after them equalising, you not doing more to have more of an attacking impetus, and this is where I talked about the ceiling of this team and what they need to do this summer is. You've played for penalties, so you've got to accept that that's what's going to happen.
I thought we were going to win it in regular time, though. Kai Havertz, that second chance that he had when he makes that run, he comes and then Marquinhos stops it, and I was like, that was it.
I gotta give credit to Marquinhos.
When they did push forward a bit more, and Saka first of all, and then when Madueke came in, and they didn't provide the same cover at the back.
Yeah.
Bradley Barker gets in there twice and should probably score twice in
that
game.
If it wasn't for Saliba knowing the best way to defend when you're out of position is not to be rash, but to push the attacker away. Like, he's so smart. Yeah. He's like, all you have to do is put pressure and make them take an extra touch, and they need to do. But yeah, like, we were in trouble.
What is? I've been clamoring for Vinicius Jr. at the top of this hour.
Yeah.
What is the one move Arsenal needs to make this summer?
Well, I think you're absolutely right. It's the left wing, right? Like, we have Trossard, who is lovely, but he has no speed at all, right? Like, he's like, I'm going to twist and turn, and that's great when you're subbing someone in, but you need someone to stretch that defense, right? And like, I think it's the thing with Martinelli is like, he has that, but sometimes he's like, he forgets that he's fast, or he forgets that he should just be dribbling. But you need someone that's like, I get the ball, I can push forward, right? And I think if Vinicius is the answer, there's not that many left wingers in the world that are better than him, right? But yeah, I think is that most of all is fix him whatever is on the left, because all of our attacks is like, get it to Saka, have him come in or whatever, right? Like, that left wing tends to be non-existent.
It's been like that for a few years now.
I think the huge hope has to be, I talked about Saka is a guy who his best is brilliant, but we haven't seen enough of that. The hope has to be if they do invest in some proper starting quality Champions League level players in that front line, that's also going to free Saka. That if he can stay healthy, he certainly can be that player consistently instead of show flashes of it. I don't know. When he's completely the focus and there's not enough other quality around him, I get frustrated.
Well, the thing with PSG, right? Like, I think the numbers that came out was like a lot of their best players haven't actually played that much this season, right? Like Dembele's
barely played in the league.
Yeah, and it's like, so they come in that Champions League final and everyone's like healthy and fresh. Yeah. And the thing with Saka was like we were running him into the ground. Like he's
Achilles,
like 20.
hamstring.
Yeah, he's like in his early 20s and he's played more league games than most professionals have in their whole life. So yeah, and like again, you see our attackers like get it to him, have him run or like do something. And it's like he's not really resting, and also he's not resting in the games as well. So if you had a better left winger, then you can actually like diversify the attack. But also, I think Madueke has to start starting some games more than like it has to start kind of being Saka gets a bulk of that season off, because again with the PSG thing, it's like half of their team hadn't played that much this season. So when they're in the Champions League, you're playing against like a fully fit, fresh team.
Look, we got Phil Kitromides waiting to join us. We have to talk something other than Arsenal at some point in the show, unfortunately. We'll be talking PSG. Eric Bielderman will join us coming up shortly, and Phil Kitromides will be here. We're going to talk Andoni Iraola, because he is going to be the new Liverpool manager. It would seem amazing that we're going to see three of the top clubs in this country, all who played boys football together in this one little region of the Basque Country. So he's a former Rayo manager. We will speak with Phil about that. But thank you so much for coming in, Zito. If we can get you in for some more, I could sit here and chat to you guys all day about this, even if it is a little too much asking for me. Thank you, gents. This is the S Word. Phil, up next.
Has to score this, otherwise PSG are champions again. Left footed.
Bringing all the biggest football debates stateside. The S Word from talkSPORT. It's the show for people who love football in North America. And I mean the proper kind, where you only use your feet.
The S Word
From talkSPORT.
Back with the S Word on talkSPORT. Will Gavin, Master Tesfatsion alongside me, bouncing along nicely. Lots of good football chat around Arsenal in the Champions League final. We will get the French perspective from Eric Bielderman coming up shortly. But there was another huge piece of news this weekend, Master, that we have not got into. Trying to take your thunder away from you on Saturday afternoon. Right around lunchtime, it was announced that Arne Slot will be leaving as Liverpool manager. Let's hear from Danny Murphy, who spoke straight after this about Andoni Iraola, the guy who we're expecting to get this job, and his suitability for the role.
Well, the style is certainly in keeping with what Liverpool fans want, because I don't know how often you've watched Bournemouth. I've done them a few times live this season. They are all out there. They go for it. They are brave. They're fit. They're dynamic. That's exactly what he'll do if he goes through the door. That's how he'll have them playing, and that's what the Liverpool fans want. I don't know, part of me still thinks Enrique might be able to nick him from PSG, especially if they beat Arsenal. I'm going to watch his mannerisms after the game tonight.
Danny Murphy trying to claim they're going to steal Luis Enrique away as they are looking to maybe go
every
through
English person think they can just steal Luis Enrique away? I heard Arsenal fans arguing for the same thing 2 months ago when they were down on Mikel Arteta. Why do they think Luis Enrique is going to leave PSG? He's got a perfect situation.
Yeah, unbelievable. We will get into that in the next hour when we talk some PSG. But let's talk Andoni Iraola, the man who we're expecting to be the next Liverpool manager. They are in talks. Liverpool want to get it done before the World Cup starts. So no better person to speak to than La Liga expert and Rayo Vallecano fan who knows Iraola well from his time there. Friend of the show, Phil Kitromides, is with us. Phil, how are you, sir?
Hi guys, I'm well, thank you. I'm well. I'm glad I'm not
still wearing the hat. That's the most important thing.
Love it.
Hat hasn't come off since Wednesday, so yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Just a note on Wednesday, not the result you would have wanted, but Rayo did you guys proud. Getting there, performance, you've got to be happy.
100%. You know, we'd already sort of won, getting to the final. There was very low levels of expectations, but once we've got there, I think, they would have quite liked to have won. But I think you saw at the end as well, the full-time reaction, the fans just staying there, applauding the players and the banner that was unfurled at the end. I know no greater victory than being with you in defeat. Says it all.
That's beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful.
That does sound like a Morrissey lyric, but
I mean, let them have their moment. Let them have their moment. He's been dogging Rayo this whole time, and I've been showing you love. So
unbelievable.
It does sound like a Morrissey lyric, to be fair. Yeah,
fair enough. Iraola going to Liverpool. When you heard this news, what was your reaction, and how do you think he will fit in at Liverpool?
Yeah, he had been quite strongly linked with a move to Bayer Leverkusen, actually. And I saw that and I thought, Bayer Leverkusen it's a great club, but I think he might be ready for something a little bit different. And then he was also linked to Crystal Palace. And I'm thinking, well, why would you leave Bournemouth to go to Crystal Palace? No disrespect, obviously, to a team that's just won a European trophy. But a coach who is in the ascendancy like Iraola is, I think is ready for a big challenge, and Liverpool are a absolutely monster challenge for a manager who, as we said, is in the ascendancy. Wherever he's gone, he's done incredible things. I mean, I'll give you a very brief sort of overview of what he's done. But, at Mirandés, his second division team in Spain, one of the tiniest teams in the second division, he took them to the semi-finals of the Spanish Cup, took over Rayo Vallecano, got them promoted, took them to the semi-finals of the Spanish Cup. And then obviously we know what he's done at Bournemouth with these historic seasons. And it's all in the same style as well. And you were alluding to that as well. It is front-footed. It is about volume. And that was a word he used a lot here in Spain, volume. I want things to happen. Lots of crosses into the box, lots of people attacking, lots of attacks, lots of shots. It's about volume. It's about making things happen. He wants things to happen in the game. He wants a little bit of chaos. He himself says, I prefer a bit of chaos to just having loads of control and not moving the ball quickly. And this, I think, might be music to Liverpool fans' ears, certainly after some of what the football they've seen this season, and maybe harking back to the slightly nostalgic notion of the heavy metal rock and roll football of Jurgen Klopp in days gone by. So I think it's a really exciting appointment. And I'm not sure, guys, if it was with you. I think it might have been on the show a few weeks ago when we were talking about Iraola, and I said, I think Real Madrid should go for him. Obviously, they were never going to go for him in a million years because it didn't really fit the playbook. But he's that good. I think he could go to the next level now with a massive job.
But the argument here with the Premier League is, of course, Chelsea and Liverpool, the situations they were in, and you had a guy like Xabi Alonso, who, of course, didn't work out at Real Madrid, former Liverpool player. Whether he was a better fit at Liverpool rather than he is at Chelsea, how do you feel about that? Is Iraola a better fit at Liverpool than Xabi Alonso, as crazy as that may sound to the average fan?
Listen, I think Xabi Alonso was a better fit emotionally for everything that he means to the club. And I think that would have been very, very nice indeed. And we can talk about why Liverpool took so long to make this decision and kind of missed the boat with Xabi Alonso. I think Iraola is an absolutely exceptional manager who has experience in the Premier League, which is prized very, very highly in England. We know that, this manager doesn't know the league. He doesn't know England. He doesn't know English football. Well, he does now. Iraola absolutely does. So yeah, I think he is a good fit. Obviously, like we said, emotionally, Xabi Alonso would have been very, very nice to get him back at Anfield. I still feel, one day there are certain managers that you feel, are going to manage certain clubs. Iraola one day will manage Athletic Bilbao. Diego Simeone one day will manage Inter Milan. Xabi Alonso will one day probably manage Liverpool. It's not happening right now, and I think when Iraola is announced, I think Liverpool fans should be excited.
It's amazing to me as well that now we're going to have Arsenal, Chelsea, and now Liverpool, managed by three young men who played in the same boys' club together. You had Unai Emery from the same province, like the smallest in all of Spain. It's this footballing just factory that's creating these great managers that are now taking over the Premier League. Tell us a bit about that, because I think it's an astounding story.
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, you can add a few more names into the list as well. Julian Lopetegui is also from there. Jose Luis Mendilibar, who won the Conference League with Olympiacos. He's also Basque and from, the province of Guipúzcoa, which is the smallest province in Spain. 50 provinces in Spain. Guipúzcoa is the smallest, and yet it has produced a ridiculously high number of Premier League managers. Xabi Alonso is from there. Mikel Arteta is from there. Unai Emery is from there. And Iraola is from just outside Guipúzcoa in Vizcaya, but it's all Basque, so I don't know what's going on in the water up there, what they're putting in the water, but I think it's just a mentality whereby it's an extremely sporty place. But at the same time, I think a value is placed on the study of sport as well, and just a little bit more of an in-depth view of sport, not just competing, but sort of understanding how and why sport is played and excelled at the highest level. It's like I said, it's a sporty place, not just football. They're very outdoorsy. They're very physical. They tend to be kind of big, strong guys as well up in the Basque Country, and it is extraordinary the sort of the Basque takeover of the Premier League, and if you go further afield, there are lots of Basque managers all over Spain and indeed Europe plying their trade. So it's really incredible. But you're right, at the highest level, Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, and Aston Villa all having managers from this tiny province is just extraordinary.
Maybe we should, there hasn't been an Englishman to win the Premier League as a manager. Maybe we should send some English folks out there.
I need to dust off my Spanish GCSE. That's what needs to happen, Phil.
Enjoy some cheesecake, enjoy the culture and really study the game, because it seems like...
I mean, there's an American at Real Sociedad, Rino Matarazzo, who's done incredible work there and won the Spanish Cup, and he's slotted in very nicely indeed. Again, someone who is slightly studious as well. He's a really sort of deep thinker about the game, and he's slotted in very well too. So, Americans, Brits, whoever wants to learn about football and how to be a winning manager, go to the Basque Country.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'll take it. Look, whatever it takes.
Little dig in him. Just
whatever it takes.
That England hasn't had a manager to win the Premier League.
He's been fighting too many trolls online, and he's now letting it enter his real life. Don't listen to him. Look, on the topic you mentioned about Xabi Alonso would have been a better fit at Liverpool emotionally, but Iraola is a great fit footballing wise. What do you make of the fit of Xabi Alonso footballing wise at Chelsea? Because we've not really had a chance to discuss this. And is he someone who can bring quick success there?
Quick success. I'm not sure. I think it depends a lot on the players and how much they buy into him, because we saw at Real Madrid that I think he had some really good ideas. I think at the start of his tenure at Real Madrid, we did see a little bit of a change. We did see them playing a little bit differently, and they started really well. You know, his first three or 4 months at Real Madrid were really, really good. And then it kind of started to fall apart. So I think it depends a lot on the Chelsea dressing room, on their capacity to not just accept what the manager wants from them, but the willingness to work hard and put into practice what he's asking of them. Because I think all these managers are actually quite similar in their outlook. You know, they're not necessarily the arm around the shoulder, come on, mate, you know, let's. They are studious, hardworking, I don't want to say lacking in charisma, because they've all got a sort of aura around them, which is incredible when you talk to them. But in terms of players, maybe they're used to something a little bit different. They're not there to be your friends at all. They are there to implement a plan and to get you relentlessly to understand it. And I know you asked about Xabi Alonso, but Unai Emery is one of the most, like, you speak to players who have played under him and they're like, he is an absolute ball breaker. Like, he's a nightmare to play with because he's so on your case all the time. But at the same time, he's absolutely brilliant because he gets results. I think Xabi Alonso isn't quite like that, but he's in that kind of school. You tell me whether you think the Chelsea squad is going to be receptive to those kind of methods.
I guess it depends what success is as well, right? I said instant success. Is it just finishing top 5 and qualifying for the Champions League?
Chelsea
right
fans
now,
want trophies.
That'd be a step forward for Chelsea, let's be honest.
Chelsea wants trophies. They sack managers, they don't win trophies. That's a standard.
Yeah, I mean, he has been brought in to win trophies, and he is a extraordinarily professional but competitive and ambitious man, Xabi Alonso. You know, he's not there for a paycheck. He's not there to live in London and enjoy the life. He's there for the job, for the work, and he wouldn't have taken on this job if he didn't think there was great potential there. To be fair, he is taking over at a good time because improving on a 10th place finish isn't going to be too hard.
Yeah, you've got a
low end.
It's definitely a low bar to clear. Phil, man who never has to clear a low bar because he sets it so high. Phil Kitromides joining us on the show. Brilliant stuff from you.
Vamos, Rayo.
Thank you so much. Coming up in the next hour as this massive show rolls on, Eric Bielderman will be joining us to give us the Paris side of things. We'll talk about the USMNT as well, getting on their World Cup pre-campaign underway in fantastic fashion with a 3-2 win over Senegal. And we'll get the Liverpool perspective on this Iraola deal and the Arne Slot sacking. The Bear is going to join us. If you don't know who he is, you're in for it in the next hour.
The daily deep dive into the world of football. The S Word from talkSPORT. S Word,
featuring Will Gavin and Master Tesfatsion.
and a squad of big name contributors.
The S Word
from talkSPORT.
You truly know that it's a fun episode of the S Word when basically in the 3 minutes that we're off there between segments, we're just having a big argument with each other about something.
Bringing in our producer Ali and just continuing the conversation we've had in the first hour. What hour? What hour?
Bring your lunch, bring your dinner.
Yeah,
bring
absolutely.
bring your paychecks, bring your check stubs, bring your cryptocurrency, bring everything. We need Vinny, baby.
If you haven't seen yet, the first hour of the show, the man to my left, Master Tesfatsion, I'm Will Gavin, went pretty hard in the paint at the idea of Vinicius Jr. would be the man to elevate Arsenal to that next level, and I do not hate it. It's gone out now on social media. See it on Instagram. I think it's gone on TikTok, Facebook, everywhere, at talkSPORT and at talkSPORT S Word. So go and check that video out. Get in the comments. Get involved. But yeah, it sparked quite the debate here in the studio, so maybe we'll get into that a bit later this hour. But we've got some big guests to get to first and foremost.
Big Monday.
Coming up shortly, the great Chris Felica from Fox Sports, the Bear, big Liverpool fan as well, will be joining us on the Arne Slot firing and what seems like Andoni Iraola's hiring. But first, are you ready for this, buddy?
Give me my medicine.
It's the thing is, I know you love this guest so much.
Oh, he's fantastic. He's fantastic.
The fact he has to come on and gloat's a strong word, but talk about your loss on Saturday.
And it is all good. I'm here to take the pain.
Before we get to our League One expert, let's just relive the moment at talkSPORT Towers.
I didn't know about this part.
As Paris Saint-Germain became back-to-back Champions League winners. I'm pretty sure other than merci and baguette, allez is the only French word those two men know. But Gavin Bongnor and Jason Cundy celebrating in the talkSPORT studios afterwards. Is it?
So pathetic.
Bit of fun, mate.
So pathetic.
Bit of fun.
Come on. Name 5 French words. Oh, yeah? You're a French fan now? Yeah. Name 5 French pastries.
Oh, that's the one thing I can do.
That's
I back myself hard to name 5 French pastries.
I was going to come in here with a baguette, too. Oh, my God.
Listen, the great Eric B. Elderman is all the French I need in my life and joins the show now, hopefully from somewhere a little less chaotic than we spoke to you on Friday, Eric. How are you, sir? Welcome to the show, and congratulations to the French for Saturday.
So thank you for the welcome package. It's not so chaotic, but there is still the sound of the Arsenal ambulance that we saw on Friday while I was talking, and we had some good laugh about it, even if it was a bit too noisy. But this time it's quiet, and this is the first day it's quiet after a couple of days of turmoil in Paris. Because whatever we can talk about football, whatever we can say, Paris Saint-Germain deserved the title. Paris Saint-Germain was by far a better team, and Arsenal nearly lost the game by themselves. They were having the best scenario to score early goal and to be the team of the night, and maybe to be able to kill Paris Saint-Germain with a second goal. But
the mosquito,
they didn't even try it
on Friday, Eric. The mosquito.
Yeah. I told you the mosquito, and exactly what was happening. After a couple of minutes, suddenly, from nowhere, Marquinhos made a bad pass, and suddenly, clinical goal, perfect mental situation where suddenly it itches from everywhere from the Paris Saint-Germain mental side. But a mosquito can bite twice and should bite twice. As long as you don't have killed the mosquito, be careful. And suddenly, I think Arsenal went too much on a negative mood. And minute after minute, it was obvious that Paris Saint-Germain were resilient, were very quiet. They were not overplaying to try to say, we must score. They were having the feeling that a goal might come. And more you defend deeper, more you are on the situation to concede a penalty. And this is what happened.
But Eric, they didn't score an open play. As much possession as they had, 75%. I didn't see anything from Dembele. I didn't see anything from Kvaratskhelia. Yeah. Like, Arsenal played this about as well as you can defensively for as aggressive as PSG plays. I thought it was a brilliant game plan, personally. It's just unfortunate that the penalty happened.
Yeah, but you defended well, and it's obvious that you couldn't see really Dembele, you couldn't see really Desiree Doué or Kvara. Kvara, minute after minute, he was beginning to work quite well on the left side of Paris Saint-Germain. But this is football. I mean, you can't for 95 minutes expect not to make a single mistake, not to see maybe a referee to have a role to play in the game. The penalty, to me, it's a clear penalty. The point is not there. But the point is that when you have an opportunity to kill the game, when you know about Paris Saint-Germain, they have beaten every Premier League team. They have beaten Bayern Munich. They have beaten everyone, and they never got in panic. They never got in trouble with tactical issues or with mental issues or with physical issues. So, to me, it was a gamble from Mikel Arteta, and he lost the gamble.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I thought it was a gamble worth doing after seeing what Bayern Munich did. And, I mean, we've seen PSG being able to play in these kind of ways. But, you know, the simple fact that, you know, this is even tough to talk about because I felt like they...
Let me ask, is there any frustration from the Parisian side about, say, the performance of someone like Ousmane Dembele, who did disappear in this game entirely, that as much as they felt maybe comfortable, despite the fact they were a goal down, despite the fact it was level, that actually some of their stars didn't turn up and create a moment of magic to break that Arsenal defence?
Yeah. No, I don't think there is frustration. It's easy to say after the game, but we could see easily that Arsenal was great in the defense process. They never really conceded clear chances. They were doing like that, having at least 2, sometimes 3 players to cope with the guy who was having the ball, whether it was Dembele or Desiree Doué. So it was great. But who can pretend to be on a 95 minutes process not to make a single mistake or not to let a single opportunity to be scored? And when Paris Saint-Germain scored, there was still 30 minutes to go. So if the penalty was 92 minutes, then you could cry, you could complain, you could say, oh, we have done the job, and Mikel Arteta was right. But the situation happened 30 minutes before the end. So it means that the tactical issue was not perfect.
PSG winning back-to-back Champions League trophies, of course. We've only seen that in recent memory with Real Madrid as they went 3.
Real Madrid 3.
What does this mean for PSG now, and how do you capture what the Luis Enrique era means in the span of global football? What does PSG's dominance mean?
Yeah, to me, and not to me, to everybody, I guess, means that Paris Saint-Germain is now one of the top 10 European clubs in the history. By having these 2 titles, by achieving in the process of Champions League era, where only Real Madrid got 3 in a row, but out of that is 1 winner, another winner, another winner, another winner. So that means something much more than in the 60s or 70s, where it was the real Champions Cup with only champions. Now you have to fight with 5 English clubs, with 5 Spaniards. So it's very difficult to... and we come only from the French league. We are the Farmers League, so we are not, even if the Qatari are by far maybe with the Man City the richest team on the paper, but whatever, we play 2 easy games during the season to maintain or to feel that we maintain the process of high standard quality with Paris Saint-Germain, and that's the job of Luis Enrique. Luis Enrique have left Paris Saint-Germain to be very close to the very last game with Lens as a contender for the French title, but it means that he kept the 100% focus on the final, on the process to the final. And if you look at the first 11 on the last game, the final. 10 of them, except the goalkeeper, they were the first choice of the final a year ago. So everything has been done for them to be physically and mentally prepared to be there on the day of the final. And it's absolutely tremendous the way he handles the dressing room, whatever we speak about mental, tactical or physical issues.
Eric, let me turn my attention to some of the ugly scenes in Paris last night. And I heard you, I'll be honest on this subject, on the Trans Euro Express. If people don't subscribe to that already, Andy Brassel, Danny Kelly, brilliant show.
Yeah.
Is there a concern that with these scenes in Paris now repeating last night, with the World Cup on the horizon as well, that this could be something that we see again?
For sure. We know it will happen again. It will happen. It did happen before. It's not the first time. A year ago with the last final, that was the problem. When Morocco or Algeria have tremendous win in African Cup, there is trouble in Paris, mainly in Paris, and not only in Paris. When France play and wins the trophy, we know that the night after problem will occur. We know when Liverpool comes to play a Champions League game in Paris, to Le Parc des Princes, to Stade de France, big trouble come. And for a couple of weeks, couple of months, French authorities says, "Oh, this is the Liverpool fan," but everybody in France knew that was thugs. That was the same thugs than we do have had in the last couple of days. So it's part of the French problem, and it's not only on football. If you go on demonstration for the 1st of May or demonstration by unions all over the place, we know that black blocs or suburbans or people with political issues will come and try to use every single societal event to make it getting negatively.
Speaking of France in the World Cup, there's some reports coming in today about William Saliba's health. It appears that, according to reports, that he suffered an injury during that Champions League final and could be doubtful for this World Cup now. If that is the case, how significant of a blow is that for France this summer?
It's a blow not only because he is a great player, but this is a long-range tournament with 8 games to the final. And even if Konate is not, Saliba, is not always a first choice, we have Upamecano, we have Konate, but to us he is a first choice. But in a process of World Cup, you need to have 4 people to play each other during the game, all over the tournament. We will miss him. So, of course, Didier Deschamps have opportunity to find a replacement. But to me, it's a big blow, and it's not the first big blow because we have lost Ekitike, the Liverpool striker. So far, the World Cup has not yet begun, and we might have lost 2 very important players on the team for Saliba, on the squad for Ekitike.
But, I mean, no disrespect to Konate and Lacroix and all these other... I mean, Saliba's by far your best defender.
Yeah. And what he achieved during the final means a lot. To us, is a clever guy, is a quiet guy, is brilliant. To me, I really appreciate him more than I do appreciate Upamecano. Upamecano, many in France says Upamecano is the greatest. But to me, Upamecano can be versatile and volatile. When he's under pressure, sometimes he can lose. For a single moment, he can lose concentration and concede silly chances or make a critical negative pass. So, which is not the case with Saliba. So, I don't know the very latest of Saliba, but it's dreadful. It's dreadful for him. First of all, we have always to think about the guy before to think about us, about the football. It's a dream to play a World Cup. He has won the Premier League. He was the most happy man. Then, of course, he lost the Champions League. But it was easy to recover the day after. He could take a taxi and go to after a couple of days of rest, go to the camp, the French camp, and having the guys and say, okay, we are one of the 2 favorites with Spain to win the World Cup. We have one of the greatest ever, not the greatest ever, one of the greatest ever lineup to win maybe again for the 3rd time the World Cup. come on, it's straightforward for him, if so.
I do want to ask you about a Frenchman who may be making his way to the Premier League by the sounds of it. The Lens manager, Pierre Sage, is possibly heading to Palace. For Palace fans who are watching, for Premier League fans who are watching who may not be familiar, what are we getting in this man in terms of tactical performance, in terms of what he can bring to South London?
Pierre Sage is a very positive manager. What I mean is he enjoys entertaining football. He enjoys attacking football. He is very close to the players, very close to the dressing room, but not friends with the dressing room. He have found naturally the balance between to be human being and also to be a manager. And for that, when you will meet him for press conferences or a one-to-one interview, he loves to talk about football. He loves to talk about tactics. He tells the thing. He's one of the most entertaining manager to have interview with. He's a very well-educated person. Why, if so 100% confirmed, goes away from Lens is because he knows that what he has achieved with Lens, he can't do better. He can't do better than being too close to Paris Saint-Germain for the title. He can't win the FA Cup because 9 FA Cup on 10, Paris Saint-Germain wins it. He can't keep the players because money-wise, Lens is second-class club. They need to sell. They have already lost one of the key midfield players, Thomasson, who didn't even wait Pierre Sage or Pierre Sage. He says, I go to Rennes because I make double or treble more money. I am 31 years old. That's time to go. So it's a fair, clever move from him, and I'm sure you will entertain, but there is a question mark. Is it the good year to go to Crystal Palace? Crystal Palace has won a European trophy. Crystal Palace have had good season behind them. The expectation on Pierre Sage can be high, so he was gambling to avoid the pressure of doing again good with Lens, but the expectation at Crystal Palace might very, very quickly put extra pressure on him due to what I've achieved. Crystal Palace, first ever European title and trophy for this club. That's huge.
Look, Eric, we love having you on. Thank you so much. Congratulations again to France for hosting the European champions once more. We'll have to settle for 2 out of 3 this year. That's fine. The brilliant Eric Pioderman joining the show. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much, as always.
It's fascinating. I mean, Lens finished second in Ligue 1 last season, and this comes back to our rolling conversation that he's going to come in and take over a bottom half of the Premier League team who have just won the Conference League in Crystal Palace. It's just, the draw of the Premier League is massive.
From all the international money rights they get, absolutely. I can't blame them.
If I can just get you being salty about anything today, it's going to make me feel
I'm
good
not
about
being
things.
salty. I'm not. I'm celebrating a Premier League champion.
Yeah, there you go. That's the main thing. I did find something I think you lost.
You have
on
more
Sunday.
props?
It's your Champions League bottle. I think that was lost on Saturday. Love you, buddy. Right, let's up next. We're going to be talking to Chris Felica. We're going to get the Liverpool perspective on the what happened over the weekend. Arne Slot leaving Liverpool. Andoni Iraola on the way in. I'm a Reading fan and I'm proud. Let's move on. Let's talk
what
to
about
Chris
Spurs?
Felica.
Do you need this for Spurs too? Here, take it back.
Around here, we only use the F word.
talkSPORT presents
the S word. kickoff to the full-time whistle. Don't say the S word. Say the F word. Football.
The S word.
From talkSPORT.
You're back with the S word on talkSPORT. Well, that was a big old sigh. We've had a great show. Come on.
We have.
Master Tesfatsion, Will Gavin, bringing you the S word this Monday, the 1st of June. Happy Monday. Good morning. 10 days till the World Cup. A lot for us to be excited about on the show today. You just get to, turn around and embrace the World Cup now. You'll get over the Champions League final nice and quickly, Master. It'll be fine.
Yes. Yes.
You really sound like it. People getting in touch with us in the chat on YouTube.
Nope. Nice one.
Joseph says, good morning, boys. Champions League final was a bore.
Bore or
I thought it was a great game. He said a bore.
Again, people don't appreciate it.
However, he said Team USA's performance was quite encouraging. SM getting involved in the chat as well, saying, let's go. Well, let's go and talk some Liverpool, because we've been focused a lot on the Champions League. We did talk some Andoni Iraola earlier with Phil Kitromides, but let's talk to an actual Liverpool fan. You may well know him as the Bear from Fox Sports. Chris Felica is with us. Chris, welcome into the show, sir. How are we doing?
We're doing okay. We're doing okay. We've gotten into June and World Cup is now upon us, and a little bit of news there, and Liverpool making the change, which I think almost was inevitable as we saw the results at the end of the year.
Chris was in the comments when we dropped the Steve Nicol post about making the move from Slot to Iraola. He was like, it's a no-brainer, but I'm not sure if they'll do it. I think I was the one to break the news to you that it's happening. How do you feel that it is actually happening now?
You don't want to say I feel good about it, because I think all of us as Liverpool supporters need to, thank Arne Slot for bringing the Premier League title in his first year. That's a hard situation to walk into, inheriting Jurgen Klopp's side, winning in year one, but at the same time, year two was a complete debacle. You can't lose 3 matches in a row by a 10-1 margin to City, Forest, and PSV. You just can't do it. And I think the signs were there that not only did he lose the fans, he lost a lot of the locker room. You can read between the lines with Curtis Jones and obviously Mo Salah's post as well. Once you do that, there really is no going back. And I just think this was ultimately headed towards if you keep him and you have this hanging over the squad the entire summer, and then you start slow in September, you've not only wasted last year, you've wasted this season as well. So I think it's one of those, you got do it a year earlier than a year late, and hopefully now with Iraola coming in, things will be on the up next season.
I'm glad that you did mention about Slot's the year before, though, because I think there's been so much focus on where the fall off was too. Like, he inherited a team who'd finished 5th and 3rd the last 2 years, who had crashed out of the quarterfinals of the Europa League. Like, there had been a lot of talk of he did it with Jurgen Klopp's team, but the first season was a sensational job. Was there any part of you that thought that he could turn it around if he was given the opportunity?
I think there was a chance, but it was a risk at the same time. You saw the moves that they made, and it didn't necessarily work. I think that the biggest issue I had with my concern for him being able to turn it out was the way you were unable to replace guys, the core, like the heart of the guys that would do anything for the Liverbird on their chest. The Harvey Elliots, the Kwanzas, the Curtis Jones is probably going to be gone now. Tsimikas not replacing Luis Diaz properly. Like, all of that left me with concerns, and the style of play. The only thing being worse than being mediocre or bad is being boring. So not only were they mediocre this year and probably bad, definitely towards the end of the season, when you had 4 wins, like the final 15 fixtures over the course of the season. Not only were you mediocre or bad, you were boring. And I think people would rather see a 3-2 loss maybe than a 1-1 draw at times, because I think people yearned for that excitement of what Jurgen Klopp era was, and now hopefully with Iraola we'll get a little more of that. But do I think he could have? potentially, but I think the toothpaste was out of the tube at this point.
Sam Matterface, our commentator, loves himself a cheesy line on these things, and I love Sam dearly. But he said, they were begging for heavy metal music, and instead of turning up the volume, they just changed the DJ. It does feel like Andoni Iraola, though, is like, if we watch what he's done at Bournemouth, and there are question marks if you look at the injury history under him over recent seasons. The intensity of the level of football has proven that it's been difficult in second half of the seasons, and there are some things around there that I think fighting on four fronts may be a difference, but the style of football is undoubtedly something that Liverpool fans should enjoy.
Oh, absolutely. But what you said also, there's no guarantee that this is going to work. You have succeeded at Bournemouth. You've taken them to Europe for the first time and survived massive changes to your squad. Your best player is leaving for big program like Liverpool, you leave for City, and you're able to replace those guys and still perform at a high level. So that is optimistic that he can kind of mold and adapt. And people, I think, are anxious to see what he can do with a high budget squad like Liverpool. But there's no guarantee they'll be able to handle the pressure and under the microscope of this side as well. I think obviously he's going to be given a little bit of a grace period now, because he can't just constantly turn managers over. But I think we are all optimistic now. Maybe now he's the beneficiary of hopefully a healthy Alexander Isak. Maybe he can get Alexis McAllister to perform the way he did in 24, 25. Hopefully, the biggest problem they're going to have is the back line. Like, what do you do now? You lose Ibu. Andy Robertson is gone. You're relying on Leone coming in, and Connor Bradley, who knows if he's going to be healthy. Yuga Katika, is he going to be? They have massive injury concerns, guys coming off major injuries on this side, that there's no guarantee that these guys are going to come back close to the players that they were. But losing the players they did on the back line and seeing how they were just so vulnerable on the counter towards the end of the year last year, that's going to be, I think, the new manager's biggest task, is trying to sew up that back line, because they do have some concerns there.
Is there a dream player for you in the summer transfer window that you feel whether would fit Iraola, or just a player that you're just eyeing that needs to be on Liverpool's squad this summer? Who's your guy?
I really don't know. I think the biggest, I'll give you the position. Like, they need to go out and shore up a replacement for Louis Diaz. They need a winger to go out there with the work rate that he had, that can run, because now you're going from a style of play where you had Bournemouth and the work rate that they had, and the number of meters covered, one of the most in the league, I think, if not the most in the league, to Liverpool being outrun and outworked in all their matches. That was certainly a storyline throughout the year. So they need to find someone on that wing who can go up and down and work the way Luis Diaz did. That would be number one. And then number two, I think, would be finding some type of holding defensive midfielder as well, because I think that's a position that they're really lacking in right now as well.
Want to shift the tensions here from Liverpool to USA, of course, home nation, host nation of this World Cup, and
USA.
I mean,
get back in the positive
mindset. There's reason to chance and reason to be slightly optimistic after a 3-2 victory over Senegal and friendly in Charlotte. And hey, that first half looked pretty good.
Yeah, no, it was certainly optimistic, and I think anytime you can get a result like that and you can put goals on the board in a friendly like that, when this is one of the last times that you're going to be able to step on the field in I don't want to say a meaningless competition, but something like a pre-match warm-up, that was certainly optimistic. And I think you look at the group, Turkey has some injuries on their side that maybe makes them a lot more vulnerable than they may have been when we all saw that Turkey was going to be the UEFA qualifier to take that space. I mean, Paraguay is a good side, but when we saw the group come out, it was like, oh, USA should win this group. And then it was the series of results and seeing the group come together, like second or third might even be on the table. But no, I think there is. And obviously, as a home nation, you get a little bit of home cooking time. You get a home whistle. You get some calls here or there to help you along the way. You get the backing and the support of the country as the tournament goes on. I think anything less than winning at least one. I think winning, you have to win one knockout round match. That would be, I think, the bare minimum for this side. If you can win one, get to the round of 16, I think you can probably say, okay, it was a successful tournament. I know if you ask them truth serum, I think that's probably the goal. Obviously, I think they're hoping for a quarterfinal or so, but I think one knockout round win and you can feel good about where they were.
The Bear giving us the bare minimum.
What did you make, Chris, of the very memeable moment from the first half where during the drinks break, Mauricio Pochettino gets his laptop out and starts showing them plays? It looked like something out of an NBA timeout rather than something out of a soccer or a football match. What did you make of all of that?
Modern technology, it's great. Yeah, I was going to say it's like the NFL when you go to the sideline, you got the tablet on the sideline, and you're getting the photos down for the good. Anything you can do to advance and make learning and teaching and showing things visually better, I am all for it. I thought it was pretty cool.
I often cite this when I talk about the NFL being so much better at sponsorship and commercialism than any other league in the world. The fact that the tablet on which they use for that, and also for the American football equivalent of VAR, is sponsored and branded, is still to me one of the most, like, that's how football should approach it. It should be like, we're going to VAR, let's at least slap a whichever logo on the back of the screen and make it a thing that somebody's paying for the rights to have. Like, so, some good old-fashioned American commercialism for you there.
It's about time you celebrate.
I'm on board. I'm finally on board. Yeah. It took 4 weeks of hanging out with you every day.
But Chris, I want to ask Chris, are you on board with England? When you talk about the World Cup favorites, how do you feel about England? And if you aren't, who are you going in feeling like is the favorite to win?
England as the side, I'm fine with. I liked what Thomas Tuchel said in response to the criticisms about his side makeup. Like, it's not always about the best players, it's about the best team and having complementary players to fill certain roles. So I did not mind the team construction. I thought it was fine. I just worry about the route. You assume they're going to win the group. Mexico will probably win its group, and then you're looking at a round of 16 matchup at Azteca with Mexico. Like that is a brutal path to have to take, not only with the opponent, the atmosphere, the elevation, the heat. You're better than Mexico, but can you advance in that tie? Maybe. And if you do, then your next match is against Brazil in Miami in the quarterfinal, and that's more weather concerns of heat, humidity, and probably a very pro Brazil side in South Florida. So I would be surprised if England were to advance past the quarterfinal. I think the side is certainly talented and very capable of doing so, but that is a very difficult round of 16 and quarterfinal path for England to manage. I still think France is the best side, even if William Saliba can't go. I know they maybe have some current concerns there on the back line, but I think the rest of the squad around them is great. I think they should be able to get to at least the semifinal, and I think that the winner of that France-Spain side will probably be the very rightful and deserving favorite. I think obviously the biggest wild card is Portugal, and if they can manage to win that group that they have with Colombia in it, there's no bigger reward in this competition than winning that group and getting that lower right-hand draw through the round in the knockout round. That is a very, very easy path to the quarterfinal and potentially the semifinal. So I think if you're looking for someone outside of France and Spain, someone on the other side of the draw, Portugal would certainly be that side with that great midfield and then Diogo Costa in goal.
Listen, Chris, nobody wants the team that get the easy route to the final. You want to be the PSG. You want to have to have gone through the Bayern Munichs, etc. of the world if you get there.
You make it to the final.
What I'm hearing is it's coming home. That's what I'm hearing, buddy. Listen, if people aren't familiar with the great Chris Felica's work, we asked the English question. You are a betting expert. You deal on that side of it. Obviously, sports gambling, absolutely huge over here as well. We've been workshopping the idea of a feature. Call it Poke the Bear or Grin and Bear It, or something like that. You've already given us. We're going to ask about an outside bet with Portugal. So what else do you like for the World Cup? What are the other kind of props, etc., that you're keeping an eye on and you particularly like?
I think I told Master about this one in our friendly chat that we're a part of. Jeremy Doku to win Golden Boot at 80-1 was something that I liked as well. He certainly showed an ability to finish at City later in the year. And we talked about, or I just talked about Portugal's route path to the quarterfinal. Belgium has a very manageable group that they should win as well. You win that group, then you're going to get a third place side in your first match. Maybe I think someone maybe along the lines of like Czechia or someone might be that potential team. Then you win that, and then you're either going to get the winner of the U.S. group or the third place side if that winner manages to get knocked out in the round of 16. So you're looking at Portugal with a very good path to the quarterfinal as well. And I know Doku does not take penalties. I know that's Lukaku and De Bruyne. They're going to take and that's always something you want to look at in the Golden Boot market. But I think Doku, it offers a little bit of value there. If you're looking to get a little bang for your buck, I think 80-1 there might be something that might be worth a play.
Chris, you're absolutely allowed to say route instead of route. That's fine. I did also notice that you went with a semi instead of a semi earlier. You're fully embracing the English language as it should be spoken, and I'm enjoying that greatly.
Well, I think something that I've learned is the local knowledge, because I got to cover and work the Masters golf tournament in Augusta, Georgia for many, many years. And you need to learn that it's not fans, it's patrons. It's not front nine, back nine. It's first nine, second nine. It's not groups, it's pairings. So you need to learn all of these things to kind of show the people and the organizations the proper respect that they deserve.
Trust me, I do NFL play-by-play, and I know very well that if I said defense instead of defense at any point, or if you start to get that language slightly wrong for the ear of the listener that knows regularly, then suddenly you are showing yourself up immediately. So I appreciate it, so I truly do.
Yeah, we try. The other thing that I had looked at in terms of one more bet, I took a little stab at Morocco to win Group C there at 5-1, just because I don't know if that Brazil side is a great Brazil side. I think their midfield is a little bit lacking. The fact that Morocco get Brazil in the first match, they can manage a draw there. Then you're looking at basically who can pour in the most goals against Haiti and Scotland as a tiebreaker. So that first match, get a draw, see what happens, and Morocco is certainly a side that you can have whatever opinion you want about what happened in AFCON, and then in the debate there about whether Senegal should have been stripped or whatever. But I think Morocco, with the talent that they have, certainly can eke a point out against, at least a point out in that first match, and you might be real live there, 5-1.
Hey, I'll take Morocco in the quarterfinals in Miami. That's fine. That's fine.
I see a lot of people pointing at the Netherlands as a dark horse team as well, and I've seen some people pick them to win the tournament. How are you feeling about the Netherlands right now after their World Cup roster was released?
It always seemed like they disappoint, and again, the years change, the players change, but it just feels like at some point they don't manage to pour in the goals. They're looking for that the prime goal scorer. On defense, they look very, very solid, and you got Dumfries who can come up and support there. But it just feels like they always seem to disappoint. And I can remember being in Joburg in 2010 for ESPN covering the World Cup final, and they were certainly in that match, but ultimately could not topple Spain. But I've liked them in the past in certain competitions in Euros, but I can't quite get there for some reason with the Dutch.
I get it. They are a bridesmaid team. Look, Chris Verliga,
so
absolutely sensational stuff from you. 100%. Chris, I can't argue. That's the problem. I can't sit here and be like, I don't have his brashness. I can't sit here and claim Arsenal are the best team in the world like he did for the last 3 weeks.
Best champions England. We know who we are.
Anyway. Chris, wonderful stuff from you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for getting up bright and early.
I appreciate you. And we didn't even have time to get into my SEC Prem versus my big Power Four conferences in college football. And someone actually asked me about that, about going into the Champions League final, about should the strength of the Prem give Arsenal the edge. And I said, well, The Prem is like the SEC, top to bottom. It's the best, but you've got these other teams and other leagues that are better than the best teams in the Prem. So you can have fun with that at some point too.
Maybe we'll just bring you on next time and chat some more about this. How about that?
We can do this again. Don't you worry.
Absolutely.
Don't you worry. The Bear, the brilliant Chris Felica joining us on the S Word from talkSPORT. Still to go. We've got a few more things that we haven't broken down yet. We haven't talked about the other World Cup warm-ups. We haven't talked about that USM&T match. We just heard from Chris on that. So still plenty more to come on the S Word. Get involved in the chat on YouTube at talkSPORT S Word or via X or Instagram. Just get in there, get in the comments and give us some stick.
From kickoff to the full-time whistle,
talkSPORT presents
the S Word.
talkSPORT presents
the S Word.
Get your full-on football fix from across the football galaxy.
The S Word
from talkSPORT.
You're back with the S Word on talkSPORT. Will, Gavin, Master Tesfatsion alongside me. Show coming to the end. It slapped today.
This was a slapper. This was a great show.
That's a lot of great guests, mate. Just that you know, banger. We can go with banger. It's a banger today.
I mean, we say it from the Bay. We say, this is a show for Americans. We can say slaps. This was a slapper.
I enjoy it greatly. Look, we've had a great show today. Some really great guests on. Also, first clips already going out on social media. Your take that, in fact, the Master demands Arsenal go out and try and land Vinicius Jr. this summer. A few comments coming in on that. Mirko saying, has anyone seen him actually play against physical sides, though? How did he do?
I would question whether English fans have watched him play in La Liga, period. But that's a conversation for another day.
So just shots fired for no reason. All English fans there.
He played against Man City in the semifinals. He's played at Anfield. He's played against Arsenal. There's enough tape on there. Again, if you want to watch other clubs outside of England, I highly recommend you do so before you comment.
Dr. Mordecai, I think that's how I'm pronouncing their name. He's a perfect fit because he makes this team even more unbearable. That was a personal favourite of mine. And listen, Josh wants to ask what happened to Martinelli plus money for Mbappe. If Vinny won't leave, why not Mbappe to Real Madrid? That's all we're saying.
No, we got to draw a line somewhere, don't we?
No, I'm suggesting, is that a line that you're drawing? Maybe
I'm saying
if Mbappe came to North London, surely he'd be the perfect fit for this Arsenal team. You want someone who's going to elevate you to the next level. Why not get the former World Footballer of the Year and a true French great? Might be a World Cup winner this year.
One has won 2 Champions League trophies. The other has not, despite being managed and playing for clubs that have won Champions League titles without him. I think it speaks for itself.
So get involved on Instagram and elsewhere, X, all at talkSPORT S Word on all of those locations.
And again, if you want to shut this American up, the phone numbers, pull up the phone number, please. Let's show them the phone number. If you want to shut this American up, maybe we do a segment, shut up the American.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Call it up right here. If you want to shut up the American, as all the comments do, if you have the guts,
your whole yank.
If you have the guts to try and go one-on-one with the great one.
The great one! You're claiming to be the Rock.
Give it a call right here. Give it a call. Shut me up. Wow. At least try. Try. I promise you will not.
Do you want me to hit my nerd computer for a moment before we get into these World Cup qualifiers?
Do you think? Please.
Have we got the supercomputer noise?
The one we use for all the statistics and data. Is that what you're about to give me?
This is a shout out for Sean Rogers from the Anfield Rap, who put this out on social media. But it's to do with Andoni Iraola and his development over recent years. And this is with him being due to be the new Liverpool manager. Because I said, what about the fact that there is this knock on him about first half versus second half of seasons? He's had real issues with injuries, with his intensity, with the fact that actually he'd never outscored the first half of the second half of the season. He'd never scored more points than the first half of the season in any of his previous jobs. But that will change this year. They had the brilliant second half of the year, went 18 games unbeaten, qualified for Europe and everything else. And the numbers, the nerdery that came out around this. There's a graph which is of the cumulative XG across the season.
What is this, Deloitte now all of a sudden? You working for a consulting company?
But I just think it's really interesting from a Liverpool perspective because when it comes to the injuries, etc., during the 24-25 season, they lost over 1,100 days to injury. That's like comparable with Spurs this season, that he burnt squad outs, that he had this horrible aggregation of injuries over his 8 seasons, and that he had a significant injury crisis this year between match weeks 10 and 20. They were second, don't forget, in the league 9 games into the season. And in the second half of this year, they built a new performance centre. He brought a new doctor in Robert Marshall, who should follow him to Liverpool. He changed his training and in-game setups. He changed rotation. He adapted as a manager, and then they had the best second half of the season he's ever had. So it just put me in even better stead that for Liverpool, he is going to be the right man for the job, and they're going to compete this year, push straight back to the top. And look, only 3 teams have ever repeated the Premier League title. Man City, Man United, Chelsea. Arsenal have a really great chance to be the 4th to do that, with Man City changing manager, Liverpool changing manager, Carrick having to fight on more fronts with a relatively threadbare squad, no matter how good the last 5 months has been for him. I think if there's one team I fancy to give them a push this year, if Arsenal are going to double it up, I think it might be Liverpool.
And Bournemouth just beat Arsenal in the Emirates during a time which they desperately need those 3 points. So I'm not putting anything past them. I think at the end of the day, Liverpool fans may be in their feelings because they wanted Xabi Alonso, the emotional, better story. I think you got the better manager. I think Iraola is going to be a tremendous fit for Liverpool, even if they tried to rain on our parade before the Champions League final started. But I think there is reason to be concerned and take Liverpool seriously, pending what they do this summer.
The USMNT, 3-2 winners over Senegal at the Bank of America Stadium in Carolina, was used for the Club World Cup last summer, isn't being used this year. Sergio Dest, Christian Pulisic putting them up in the first half. We talked about a sensational first half performance. There's that social media video of the lack of bounce from the grass pitch that's doing the rounds. And everyone's ringing on a little bit.
Yeah, but I thought the ball was moving well. Whether there was a concern on some of those bounces, I'm sure. But it's not going to be a World Cup venue, so...
Is this the kind of nonsense we're going to get in the build-up to the World Cup?
I mean, we always do. It's Americans. You see the comments, you see the way it's talked about, the spectacles, people being upset about the halftime show. Like, come on, you're going to be dancing with your partners and your spouses to Shakira with the drink in your hand. Like, it's an extra 10 minutes. Everything gets exaggerated because everyone's upset. that Americans are going to put their footprint on this World Cup. And I think there's a lot of good that will come from this. Having the facilities, having the venues. You're seeing all the grass that's being laid out in a lot of stadiums that typically don't have grass for NFL players. So I think the pitches will be fine. I don't think that'll be a concern.
A lot of NFL players not happy.
No.
After they campaigned pretty hard to have more grass fields. You somewhere like, the prime example being MetLife, which is known as being the destroyer of ACLs. Well, now it's the New York, New Jersey Stadium. Suddenly we can put grass in there.
And Cooper Cup's been clamoring for that. That is a conversation that will come out of this World Cup domestically in terms of what they do with the playing conditions and the pitch conditions. But everything they've been practicing for this. That's a big reason why they had the Club World Cup. And this was an encouraging sign, I will say, this match as an American. My spirits haven't been the greatest from Pochettino and some of the decisions he's made, his lack of desire, per se, of wanting to be committed to this nation, trying to find a new job right beforehand. But what he's done with the back five, I think you can argue that formation is going to be the best formation for us, because you saw how threatening Sergiño Dest looked and Anthony Robinson looked, and being able to create some of that chaos presented those first two goals. So I'm excited to see what that looks like in the World Cup, especially if you're able to do that against Senegal, obviously the champions of AFCON, in my opinion, the best nation in Africa. It was an encouraging sign. Second half, a mixed bag. Obviously, it's a friendly. You take what you can from that. But the first 45 has given me a little bit more belief that, there was a point where I was even wondering, is this team going to finish top 3 in this group? But now, seeing these players, reminding myself the quality that there is on the pitch, I'm a bit more optimistic.
Over the coming days shows, we're going to be pivoting to the World Cup. It's 10 days away as of we're speaking, and we're going to be doing some group previews, picking through all the teams, getting experts on to talk about those teams, etc. So we start that off tomorrow. Too much to talk about on the show today.
100%.
And we'll still touch on domestic football and European football and everything else as well. But just a couple of other things to mention. Scotland 4-1 winners over Curaçao. Scotland are proposing that as a win. They were at 1-1 with Curaçao down to 10 men for a significant period of this game and only kind of put their foot on it in the last half an hour or so. I wouldn't be too excited about Scotland if that was the case. Mexico-Australia, 79,000 people at the Rose Bowl for that game. Mexico are going to be turning up in this World Cup in a big, big way.
As they always do. It is going to be Mas Fiesta.
Mas Fiesta, baby. Yeah.
When Mexico plays.
And a quick mention, Japan-Iceland. They introduced the 10-second sub rule. A guy was forced to stay off the pitch for a minute, and during the time the Iceland player was forced to stay off the pitch, Japan scored the only goal of the game. And to this I say, yes, come on. Inventive ways to stop time wasting without it having to just be show a yellow card and add more extra time on.
But you're saying that now until it costs England, because the kings of time wasters...
Oh, I don't know if we're the kings. Maybe the princes.
The princes? Okay. Okay. The prince of time wasters. It's going to have significant implications, and we saw it already in its very initial implementation, that this is a huge shift from the way we've been accustomed to watching this game. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if during the group stage or the knockout stage, it plays a significant role where a team does concede a goal that changes their faith in the World Cup.
Very hockey, very rotating subs, very sin bin of the Americans. Ugh, America ruining the World Cup just like we knew they were going to. I'm kidding, buddy. It's been a good show today.
This is FIFA. The tickets are FIFA. These rules are FIFA. Everything else could be Americana.
You've been a good sport today. Thank you.
I need some sleep.
We don't need to talk too much Arsenal in the coming days, I promise. Congratulations again to PSG. Commiserations to Arsenal, but what a parade and what a Premier League victory it was. Keep getting in touch in the comments, on social media, everywhere the show is available. And we're back tomorrow as we begin our World Cup previews in earnest.
Big name reaction from both sides of the pond.
The S Word
from talkSPORT.